What's up, YouTube? I'm back. This is going to be another YouTube video. This one is not going to be talking about no sex and no dating. As you can see, it's sprinkling outside because it's supposed to be raining all day this week. And once again, I'm getting lucky, so I apologize if you see, sprinklets of water come down. As you can see, it's getting bright sunny once again. So this one is going to be a very fun and exciting video. This is for men and for women who like television, film, video games, comic books. I didn't put comic books on the list, but I guess I might have to. And this one is something that I always wanted to make into a YouTube video, but I never got the chance to make it into a video because the first 2 or 3 years most of my content was always talking about sex and dating, and I wanted to do some fun, exciting videos that don't always talk about sex and dating. Now, I did one 24 hours ago because, I get a couple of guys in the hood who be looking at me with that upset look because, some people like when you talk about video games, comic books, and anime, and you start talking about stuff that's educational, that stimulates the brain, and then you got some people that just want to talk about sex and dating because some of these guys want to get laid, and it's like, you can get laid, but have some fun and entertainment first, then get to the most obvious stuff. That's like when you watch pay-per-view, right? Do they just show you Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao in the first hour? No. The first hour and the second hour, they show all the sorry, weak boxing fights, and then the third hour, that's when they show the main event. If they showed you Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao in the first hour or in the second hour, nobody want to watch all the other fights. So think of it as pay-per-view. It's like the same thing when you watch an action-packed movie. Do they just show the Avengers fighting the supervillains in the beginning of the movie? No, because nobody would stay for the rest of the movie. So the first act and the second act of a movie and a television show or even a video game, they have to make you build up anticipation to get to the third act of a movie, a television show, a video game, or even a boxing fight. So the title of this video is called Sex Game, the top 8 superheroes, action heroes in TV, film, anime, and video games. I apologize if that's a long title. This one, it doesn't matter if it's in order or out of order. I've done this for fun, exciting entertainment for your personal joy. And it's to get you to think about it as a kid, as a teenager, take you back to the time to when you was in high school, to when you was in college. This is kind of like a sequel from my other YouTube video that I made last year called Sex Game, Which Animal Are You? This is kind of like a sequel, except for I'm doing it with anime, video games, television, and film. This one goes back to when you was a kid, a teenager. Doesn't matter if you were in high school, college, you could be at the gym, you could be at work. A lot of men sometimes go to sleep, and women, so this video is for both. This is for men and for women. Um, Age restriction, I haven't decided if I'm going to put a restriction on it, so I'm probably going to say from age 18 all the way up to 70. So I don't want no one talking about I'm sexist, I'm biased, I'm favoritism. There's no favoritism in this video. There's no biases. You could be a man or a woman, and everyone does remember that time when they were a kid, not just Halloween, or even before Comic-Con, or before any comic convention or video game convention or any anime convention, way before they had these events in the 1990s and mid 2000s, you remember there was a time where you just wanted to play superhero from your favorite movie or television show. You remember the time where you wanted to play a super badass character from an anime or a video game or from a comic book. So I decided to give you 8 of my favorites, all-time favorites, as a kid, a teenager, and as an adult. Now, I will make we'll make a sequel to this that will talk about some of the more bigger diehard superheroes. So if people hear the names of these characters and people are not familiar with them, relax. I'll make a part 2. You know how I do. I always make 2, 3 videos. Sometimes if it's that good, 4, 5, 6 videos. It's rare if it gets 7 videos in a series. So relax. Characters like Superman will be mentioned in the second video. Characters like Spider-Man, the Hulk, Iron Man, all of those characters will be mentioned in the second half. These are like my top 8 picks, all-time favorites. Iron Man is on this list, but I'm saving him for the second video. You always save the best for last. Always remember that. Always save the best for last. Now, coming in at number 8 is Hercules. As a kid, who would not like having superhuman strength? The idea that you could pick up cars, trucks, buses, the idea that you could bench press way past 1,200 pounds of pressure and be able to lift anything with his strength is incredible. I liked the idea that he was half human, half immortal, and that he was the son of Zeus, and that he was an action hero. He fought the bad guys, he saved the day, he got the girl, or should I say girls, because he would always get more than one girl. You would always see him in the movies and television shows making out with not one, not two, but sometimes 5 or 6 girls. And the fact that he had borderline superhuman strength is so incredible. As a kid and as a teenager, I'd always gone to the gym. Literally, I mean this. I would actually go to all the gyms, 24-hour fitness, LA Fitness, Planet Fitness, all the gyms, and pretend that I was Hercules. One, because he was famous. Two, he was the biggest and the strongest guy in the world. And 3, he gets all the hot chicks. Who do not like being Hercules? I mean, you look at bodybuilding, the world of bodybuilding. There are guys who get the nickname all the time, Hercules. You've seen him in movies, television shows, comic books, graphic novels, video games. He's in everything. And he's by far the most famous hero. Next reason why I like Hercules is because he is the reason why the Olympic Games became famous. He took a sport, wrestling, and made it famous. That's one of his primary fighting styles is wrestling. Of course, he learned martial arts, and we all know his story. So that's why I like Hercules. Of course, there's that legendary story of the 12 labors, where he had to seek a pendant, from Zeus. So I like the story of Hercules. No matter how many movies or TV shows they make of Hercules, I always watch Hercules. When you see me at the gym lifting, sometimes I think I'm Hercules. But some people don't see me as Hercules. They see me as the next all-time favorite on this list. Coming in at number 7 is the Mighty Thor. Now, there's actually 2 different versions of the Mighty Thor. There is Thor from Viking Norse god mythology, the real true embodiment of what Thor is. And it's not that different from the Marvel Comics version of Thor. Both characters have a badass sledgehammer called Mjolnir. Both characters have advanced technology. Both characters are deemed superhumanly strong, powerful, and both characters eat a golden apple that gives them immortality, and they both have long, badass hair, and they both get all the hot chicks. But, of course, you already know what version of Thor I'm going to go with. The one from the actual Marvel version. Why? Because it's the most badass version of Thor. But to get straight to the point, if there's any version of Thor that I like in movie cinema, it is Ultimate Thor. You saw him in Avengers Endgame. You saw him again in Avengers Infinity War. And you even saw this version of Thor with the power of electricity. Because everyone complained in the first 2 films of Thor and the first 2 Avenger films, they kept seeing the same powers. They actually wanted to see the full range, the full extent of what Thor can actually do. So, not Avengers, but Thor Ragnarok, the 3rd movie in the Thor franchise, answered that he can go past 100%. He can go way past his maximum. And again, they showed us that super powered version of Thor fighting Tarnos. Not once, but twice. So those 3 movies kind of showed us Ultimate Thor. Yeah, I know some people are not a huge fan of Fat Thor. I'm not a huge fan of Fat Thor either. I like him just the way he was in Thor Ragnarok and Avengers Infinity War before they messed him up in Endgame, which I hope they do fix him in Thor Love and Thunder, make him the Thor that he's supposed to be. Like that ultimate version, that was like the best version of Thor we got in movies, period. Fix it. Alright, now we get to number 6 on my list. Dante from Devil May Cry. It's an all-time favorite video game. I like Dante. He's a badass. He fights supernatural infestation. Vampires, werewolves, witches, demons. He got two powerful weapons that never run out of bullets. He has a badass sword. He has supernatural powers. He himself has borderline superhuman strength, superhuman speed, drives a badass motorcycle, and like all superheroes, he fights the bad guys, saves the day, and makes love with multiple women. Of course, in real life, they would call that adultery and cheating, but in the video games, he's the main character, he's the hero, so it really doesn't matter. Badass trench coat jacket, badass motorcycle, badass sword, does incredible martial arts, listens to heavy metal music. I mean, the guy is a badass. And the fact that he takes on the bad guys by himself makes him even more of a badass. And then the fact that he has the power that makes him half human and half demon, his power is almost on the same scale as all the other characters in that world. And I already told you I would love to see this get made into a live action movie. I actually put it in my other video, Sex Game, the top 7 movies that are video games that should get made into television and film. I spoke very much about it in that video. Again, I would love to see, like, if you can make Resident Evil and Street Fighter in the movies, you can do the same thing with Devil May Cry. It's not hard to find an actor to play Dante. So you can do that. Alright, next one is the Black Panther. Now, this is a African-American superhero. Most people want to be Blade. Most people want to be Luke Cage. Most people want to be Spawn and Black Lightning. Those are also African-American superheroes in the world of Marvel and in DC. Black Panther was a superhero I always liked as a kid. Way before we even got a live action movie. Before he showed up in Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, before he showed up in Captain America, Civil War, I always wanted to see what would happen if you got to play T'Challa, aka the Black Panther. It's rich with traditional history. The guy's rich, he's famous, he's powerful, he's got money, and at nighttime he is this crime-fighting vigilante. Some people refer to this as he is the Marvel Comics version of Batman. But I think Black Panther is more badass than Batman. I mean, think about it. If I was Black Panther, I would never have to go to high school. I would never have to go to college. I would actually do what he does in the movies. Fight all the bad guys and save the day. And of course, for world peace. If I was Black Panther. Y'all probably saying, nah, you wouldn't skip high school and college. Actually, I would skip high school. Maybe not college, but high school, yes, I would skip. Couldn't stand high school. Hated high school. I mean, you guys understand, if you had these superpowers, you wouldn't even want to go to high school. Some of you men and women know what I'm talking about. Coming in on the list at number 4 is Batman. What person would not want to be Batman? I mean, come on. You're rich, you're famous, you get to fight the Joker, you get to fight Bane, you get to play with all the fancy toys, the Batmobile, the Batcycle, the Batcave, the advanced technology. You get to take on the criminals. You get to be the main character. And you get all the hot chicks. What's not to like of Batman? I mean, every time you see a Batman movie, you can't help but to do all the martial arts. Speak multiple languages. You're a billionaire. I mean, come on. What's not to like? You're Batman. And some people want to be Batman. Coming in at number 3, Wolverine. Now, the reason why Wolverine's is at a higher number than all my other favorites is because as a kid, I was just obsessed of the X-Men cartoon from the 1990s. I just liked Wolverine in particularly. I mean, there's other characters. There's Gambit, there's Cyclops, there's Cable. I might mention them on the second list, but I might entitle that different. But my point is, Wolverine, because of his power to heal, the adamantium claw, badass weapon, badass samurai, military. French Canadian, can speak multiple languages. And of course, he had a love and hate relationship with all the girls. And I mean, love and hate relationship with all the women that he messed with. Kind of reminds me of myself from all the girls I messed with in high school and college. I have a love and hate relationship with all the girls. So a lot of times when I watch the X-Men movies, the Wolverine movies, you can always see me. I'm in the restroom flexing my muscles in the mirror, pretending as if I was James Logan, aka Weapon X, aka the Wolverine. His ability to heal from anything. There could be an explosion, he heals from it. A building can fall on top of him, the guy heals. I mean, come on, what's not to like? And then the fact that you could live for a very long time as Wolverine. Now I know some people might say, but that's painful to be like Wolverine for real. Some people, just don't know. Some people would actually like to be Wolverine. I would choose being Wolverine than actually playing basketball or football. Some people might, okay, I know I ain't just heard this. You heard what I said. I would rather be Wolverine than to play professional football and basketball. That's just me. Coming in at number 2 is Goku and Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. I mean, to me, this makes sense because when I was not watching all the other characters, and I said Road and Warriors was the anime that made me watch animes. But when it comes to all the martial arts, understanding how to speak multiple languages, and when it comes to the culture, it was always Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super that made me think I'm Goku. The reason why I say that is because Goku is my favorite character. The idea that every time he advanced to the next level, he got stronger and stronger. He got more powerful and powerful. I mean, who has not thought about at one time in history of transforming into a Super Saiyan? A lot of people are Goku fans. If they wear the t-shirt of Goku, they think they're Goku. If they wear a t-shirt of Vegeta, they think they're Vegeta. Some people might say, how come you didn't mention Broly? I mean, that is another character that I do like. Broly is my next favorite character next to Goku and Vegeta. Gohan's also one of my favorites. And then if I had to be a badass, it'd be future Trunks, which means in the future I might make a video called the 10 top badass anime characters that wear badass leather jackets. Future Trunks might be on that list. So, but I like the idea of becoming Super Saiyan. I mean, come on. Who would not want to have the power of Super Saiyan? Super Saiyan 1 Goku, when he fought Frieza on Planet Namek, Super Saiyan 2, and then of course everyone's all-time favorite was Super Saiyan 3 Goku before Dragon Ball GT introduced Super Saiyan 4. I mean, those were some badass transformations that made Goku look like an ultimate badass. I mean, Vegeta's badass as Super Saiyan 2. Like, to me, to this very day, you can't tell me that Vegeta transforming into a Super Saiyan 2 as a badass is not better than when Goku went Super Saiyan 2. Like, Goku, hands down, at Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 4 is a badass over Goku, but when Vegeta goes Super Saiyan 1 and Super Saiyan 2, Vegeta is the ultimate badass. Always remember that. I know some Goku and Vegeta fanboys are going to fight back and forth over that. The idea of Vegeta is because he's the Prince of all Saiyans. That's all you need to know about Vegeta. Now, coming in at number 1 on my list, Halo. John 1:17, Master Chief. Now, if you have ever played the video games of Halo, you would have to understand the reason why I love the video game is because they made the animated movies of Halo. Warner Brothers made it, of course. And you see, what I like about this one is it's every man's fantasy. When I mean every man's fantasy, most people have to become rich and famous, right? Most people have to learn how to, what's the word I'm looking for? Social intelligence. You got to learn how to speak social in order to get girls to even find you physically, sexually attractive, right? The ability to learn how to carry a conversation. Well, if you look at the story of Halo, that basically is every man's story. The guy did not know how to speak socially very well in the beginning, and the guy was good at combat and nothing else. The idea that you can be quiet and not have to really do a whole lot of socializing or be rich and famous to get the girl And all you just need to do is just be alpha and have good combat skills and then still get the girl after being a badass. That is primarily why this one is at number one. I mean, some people might say, how come? See, the thing with Goku is Goku always was alpha. But what I said was in a realistic approach. Like, if you made Halo into a real movie, you could just imagine, hey, I wish I could be like that in real life. I wish that was real in real life. So that's why I picked Halo at number one. Just the idea you could be the ultimate badass. You don't have to talk. All you gotta do is kick ass and be quiet, and you still get the girl. In real life, you can't do that. So that's what makes this number one. Now, I will come back with a highly anticipated sequel and then name drop some of the bigger superheroes people are used to hearing. Like Batman was on this list, Wolverine was on this list, but we're talking about characters like Superman. We're talking about characters like Spider-Man and Iron Man and Captain America. Because you know someone's going to say, hey man, you didn't mention those superheroes. If this video gets enough, like if it can get between 20 to 30 views, you're going to get another video anyway. So until next time, peace.